As Bitcoin becomes more popular, governments around the world are beginning to realize how it could undermine current financial and government systems. As a result, many central governments have banned or are trying to ban Bitcoin. For example, China, Turkey, and Russia have all banned the currency, and the EU tried to ban it in February of 2022. These governments cite several reasons for banning the tender, and in this video, we're going to debunk their attacks and point out how Bitcoin actually solves many of the problems it is said to exacerbate. A popular argument against Bitcoin is its energy consumption. The usual argument cited in this case is the difference in cost between a Bitcoin transaction and a Visa transaction. One Bitcoin transaction is equivalent to 750,000 Visa swipes, they say. This argument is invalid because the Bitcoin network is not the same thing as a Visa network. Visa is just a payment system, while Bitcoin is a whole monetary system in and of itself. Visa's payment system exists on top of a monetary system of banks, fintech services, federal reserves, and central governments, all of which come together to make a bloated, inefficient financial system. Bitcoin consists of two systems, the Lightning Network and the blockchain, both of which are efficient, secure, and reliable. The Lightning Network is the payment system and is much more efficient than Visa's payment system. It is capable of millions of transactions per second as opposed to Visa's 1,700 transaction capacity per second. And while the blockchain does use a lot of energy, the energy is not being wasted. To corrupt Bitcoin's network, a single party has to control 51% of the network or 51% of the energy that goes into the network. To make this untenable, the network requires a lot of energy to be secure. So, Bitcoin needs the energy it uses. It isn't being wasted. Furthermore, a lot of Bitcoin's energy comes from green power, so its carbon footprint is actually incredibly small. In 2021, Bitcoin emitted 42 million tons of CO2, which is 0.08% of global CO2 emissions. In the bigger picture, Bitcoin is contributing very little to climate change. In fact, because of Bitcoin's reliance on green energy, Bitcoin is actually helping grow the renewables industry. You can also learn more about Bitcoin's effect on the environment in this video here. Another popular argument against Bitcoin is that it is used for criminal activity. However, this is completely false. Bitcoin transactions to illicit addresses make up 0.15% of transactions, while money laundering of US dollars is about 2 to 5% of the global GDP. This is because Bitcoin transactions are recorded on the blockchain, which is a public ledger that everyone can see. In this way, Bitcoin actually disincentivizes criminal activity. Conversely, cash is recordless and settled instantly, making it the currency of choice for criminals. And last, possibly largest reason why governments want to ban Bitcoin is that it threatens their spending power. Under the current monetary system, central governments can spend however much they wish because they control the money supply. This is why we see Congress voting large omnibus spending bills into law. They know that they can simply print the money they need. Bitcoin threatens this system. Because central governments do not control the supply of Bitcoin, they cannot spend money without constraint, and this upends current political and economic systems. But this is a good thing. We do not want governments to freely spend money because that causes inflation and increases government debt, which the citizens have the burden of paying off. Under Bitcoin, governments would have to spend responsibly, and issues of debt, deficit, and bloated bureaucracy would solve themselves. The attacks leveled against Bitcoin come from a place of ignorance and misinformation. Bitcoin solves many of the problems it is purported to cause. It encourages the growth of the green industry, discourages criminal activity, and reins in government spending. These are serious issues affecting the world today, and Bitcoin solves them. Therefore, the people should fight against government crackdowns on the currency and push for Bitcoin to be adopted as legal tender.